Everyone said it was a mistake, buying a wounded German Shepherd for just $5. A waste of money, they scoffed. But days later, that same dog did something that made a little girl collapse in tears. What she thought was a broken stray turned out to be something far more extraordinary. And what started as a quiet act of kindness would end up inspiring an entire town. Lily was only 7 years old, a quiet, curious child with a heart too big for her years. She had always said, with a kind of innocent certainty, "One day I'm going to find my real best friend." That day came sooner than anyone expected. It happened one overcast afternoon while visiting an old neighbor's worn-down property on the outskirts of town with her grandfather. They were there to pick up spare fence boards, but Lily's attention was pulled away by a flicker of movement near a dilapidated, rusted barn. She wandered closer, and there, lying in a soggy patch of straw and mud, was a German Shepherd. He was thin, his coat patchy and dull, his body marked with old scars. One hind leg hung awkwardly, and his eyes, clouded and tired, looked like they had already given up. He was tethered loosely to a splintering fence post like he was nothing at all. "Who's he?" Lily asked, her small voice carrying over the wind. The man shrugged like it didn't matter. "He's no good anymore. Hurt his leg? You can take him. $5. Lily turned to her grandfather, her eyes wide and unblinking. Without a word, she reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out 5 crumpled $1 bills. Money she had carefully saved from helping her grandmother gather eggs and sweep the porch every weekend. Her hand trembled slightly as she extended the cash. The man took it without ceremony, muttering, "He's your problem now." But Lily didn't see a problem. She saw a promise. Her grandfather hesitated, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. "Sweetheart, are you sure?" Lily nodded, steady and certain. "He needs someone," she said, her voice unwavering. "And I think he picked me." They untied the dog slowly, gently, careful not to startle him. But the dog, quiet and subdued, didn't resist. He simply stood, weak but willing, and followed Lily without a sound. That single moment sealed something between them. Back at home, Lily made a bed for him in the old barn, layering it with warm blankets, and setting out a clean bowl of water. She knelt beside him, brushing her hand gently over his matted fur, and whispered, "You're safe now, Bruno." The name came to her unprompted, as if it had always belonged to him. And for the first time, the battered dog let out a soft, weary sigh, as if he finally understood he was home. The first few days were heartbreakingly quiet. Bruno barely moved. He hardly ate. His limp was worse than Lily had realized, and he flinched at every sudden sound. He never barked, never growled, just watched the world through the dim eyes of a creature who had seen too much and trusted too little. But Lily refused to give up on him. She spent hours at his side, reading him bedtime stories, tearing pieces of her sandwich to share, even leaving her favorite stuffed bear curled next to him each night. Her grandparents watched from a distance, unsure if the dog would ever recover or learn to trust again. But Lily had already decided. Bruno wasn't broken. He was just waiting to remember who he really was. Every morning she greeted him with a cheerful, "Good morning, buddy." And every night she tucked him in like a sibling, wrapping him in warmth and love. Slowly, something began to shift. One quiet evening, as Lily was brushing out hay and humming a song only children remember, Bruno wagged his tail. Just once, tentatively, but to Lily, it was everything. It was the first sign that he wasn't just healing physically. He was learning to feel safe again, to love. Soon, her grandfather began noticing strange things, subtle at first. One night, as a military documentary played on the old TV, the sound of marching boots echoed through the living room. Bruno, lying beside Lily on the rug, suddenly snapped to attention. His ears perked, his body rigid, focused, alert, like a soldier answering a call only he could hear. "Grandpa," Lily whispered, Why did he do that? The next morning, as she accidentally dropped a bucket of grain, Bruno darted in front of her with a protective stance, body taut, eyes scanning the area like a sentry on duty. And later, playing in the barn, Lily pointed her finger like a toy gun and called out, "Bang!" Without hesitation, Bruno dropped to the ground, limp as a rag doll, playing dead. No one had ever taught him that. Her grandfather, watching from the porch, narrowed his eyes. "That dog's been trained," he murmured. "Not just for tricks. That's serious training." Lily looked down at Bruno, resting peacefully now beside her, and placed a hand on his head. "Maybe he forgot who he was," she said quietly. "Until now." The revelation came just in time. The sun was setting the following evening when Lily wandered too far near the woods behind the farm, chasing a butterfly that shimmered like gold in the fading light. Bruno trailed behind, ever watchful. The grass was tall, the air still. Then came the rustle. A wild boar burst from the bushes, snarling, eyes wild and fixed on the small girl. Lily froze. But Bruno didn't. In a flash, he leapt between her and the threat, barking with a ferocity that shook the trees. He charged the boar head-on, herding it, dodging its tusks with the precision of a warrior. He circled, growled, and drove the beast away, unyielding, fearless, until it vanished back into the forest. Only when the danger had passed did he return to Lily's side and lick her hand gently, as if nothing had happened. Me. The next morning, her grandfather made a firm decision. "We need to get him checked, properly." They took Bruno to the town's humble animal clinic, a small building tucked between the feed store and the bakery. Dr. Simmons, the town vet, greeted them warmly and examined Bruno carefully. As he ran his fingers over the dog's neck and shoulders, he paused. "There's something here," he said, pressing gently. And moments later, he extracted a small, embedded metallic chip, damaged, but still intact. He scanned it with a specialized reader. The screen lit up, and Dr. Simmons's eyes widened. "This dog, he's not a stray," the vet whispered. "He's part of a military K-9 unit, Bravo 9. He was presumed dead 2 years ago in a transport explosion." Lily gasped, her heart swelling with shock and something deeper, pride. She knelt beside him, tears streaming freely now. Bruno licked her face once, gently, as if to say, "It's okay now. You were a hero before I met you," she whispered. "But now you're my hero too." From that moment on, the $5 dog was something much more. He was proof that broken things could still save lives. Word of Bruno's story spread quickly. Dr. Simmons, moved by what he'd discovered, contacted a local reporter who had once served in the military. A few days later, the article hit the front page of the town newspaper. "Forgotten K-9 hero found by 10-year-old girl." For the response was overwhelming. People from across the county came to visit the farm. Some brought treats and toys for Bruno. Others came just to meet the brave dog who had come back from the dead. Neighbors who once kept their distance now left thank you cards and dog bones on the porch. One retired soldier drove 2 counties over just to shake Lily's hand and salute the German shepherd who had once served beside men like him. He didn't just save lives on the battlefield, the man said, voice thick with emotion. He reminded us what loyalty really looks like. And then, under the old oak tree in front of her home, Lily stood beside Bruno. The crowd gathered around her. She took a deep breath. "I didn't know who he was when I gave that $5, she said softly, voice trembling. "I just knew he needed someone. And maybe I did too." Her voice cracked, and she wiped a tear with the sleeve of her sweater. "They say I rescued him, but I think he rescued me first." The crowd fell utterly silent. Bruno stood tall beside her, calm and proud. His tail wagged slowly, as if he understood every word. Lily bent down, wrapped her arms around his neck, and whispered, "You're my best friend." And in that single quiet moment, there wasn't a dry eye left in the crowd.